Greetings from Goblin Valley, Nissedal, Norway. I'm here so you don't have to be. Today is a short, happy little video about fixing a clone again. You remember my Icarus video where I took the worst clone ever and fixed it with some glue and paper and copper plates and stuff. This is not exactly a clone, the squeezer. It works like a Pulse BF mod, but of course the similarity to the Boxer in style is really obvious. But this, I don't remember what I paid, $20 or $23 or something. And the thing is, with those nasty, cheap clone lookalikes, there might be some room to make them better, or even pretty good. So let's just dive down, have a look at it, and this is my first unpacking of it, what you're about to see, and my honest take on it, and my improvisations during the fix or improvements. So let's watch that and come back here and test it against something really good. So this is the squeezer. I think it's like $19 or something. I really can't remember. But I mean, for that price, that's not even the cost of bottles. And yeah, they are tight. The insert for 18650s, black bottle, and yeah, this is something we have seen before. And well, regarding clones and lookalikes, from time to time I buy them, and it's cheap, but let's just try to make it look a little bit more expensive and enhance the performance. My main objection is of course the outer finish. And you know, it's they pretend to make it look like it's 3D printed, but it just feels extremely tacky. Now I hope this is colored through. If not, we'll see what shows up when we try to make the finish better. Now we will just I will just let me see, take out that screw, and I will remove this 510 squonking connection and take out the parts. So first problem here, this square nut seems to be soldered to this spring, so I can't get this one out, and I used quite a lot of force already, and this one is actually here to stay, and I do not want to ruin this completely. The problem is that the edges of this connection here is slightly cone shaped, and the spring touching it is not. So the easiest fix would actually be to bend that part slightly, like so. But I will try to replace this part with some solid copper. I think this is some sort of silver, very very thin silver plate, or just shiny chrome, I don't know. Now, resistance in metals. It's of course due to the metal itself. Is it silver, copper or aluminium? Is it plated? But also dimensions. And this piece at the top is rather thick, and the distance the current will travel is really short. So the volt drop due to these 2 centimeters, 1.5 centimeters here, I can live with that. It's the long travel here I want to do something about, and the angle this is hit. As now it's only at the very very rim here that gets contact with the spring that's already in place. So we will make better contacts that make better contact. So then we have a plan to make this look different and better to hold, and change this with some solid copper. Yeah, let's do those things at least. I thought I'd just show you how easy this finish is coming off here. This is a 240 grit paper, and the finish really comes off as easy as this. So don't start with too coarse paper. I started with 180 grit, and that was too coarse. So this is this is 240, and that's a good place to start. Then you go up to 400 grit, and you can choose the end finish yourself with Scotch-Brite or even finer paper, and maybe even polish it. Some observations at this stage in the process. Now it's sanded with 240 paper. It's getting very grayish, so I guess I'm down to the primer. All the texture is not plastic, it's paint, and it smells horrible. So use a dust mask or something. By rounding off the edges on the outside and inside, you greatly improve the sensation of squeezing the squeezer. So take care on all edges and have a clear vision on what you want it to feel like in your hand. Fun fact, I was very worried about sanding the top when I could not remove the 510 connection. But the metal this is made of is actually sanded down in equal amount like the plastic. So when you do this, do the edges last and round them off as much as you would like, or keep them sharp, and just know what you want when you start doing that part of the process. And yeah, let's see where we end up when we are satisfied with the shape. And let's start working on a new finish. Now, while preparing this for finer sanding, I ended up doing a lot more work. I don't know if you can see this, but can you see it goes down here and up here where the firing button is? Look how sharp the edge is down here and how soft it is here. And look at this edge is almost gone. The amount you can shape the plastic, I discovered it's just awesome. You can actually tailor this to your grip if you spend enough time with it and take care of all the edges. So now I've been working almost an hour more to try to perfect every curve and every edge and all these little things, and of course the firing button itself can be shaped. So yeah, I'm spending a lot more time on this than really I had planned to do. But you know, it's so much fun also when you discover that if you buy something as cheap and unfinished as this, and you can make it just perfect in your hand by spending some hours with it. Yeah. I have still not found out what this is made of. My guess is plated stainless steel of some sort. And this is pure copper. And as you can see on the top, big difference. This is curved like the slant of the contact, and it is curved to follow the round contact, while this is flat. So this is now adjusted to actually hug the contact in both this direction and in this direction. And the contact here is also flattened at the top to give better contact. And if you like metal works, you can see I have made a spine with a ballpoint hammer to make it a curve this way and this way to give it more strength. I did not taper this part off, but kept it wide like this. So you make your own contact, and with the material you prefer. If you have pure silver, that's really cool, and you can make a $500 mod out of it. I didn't have that much plate silver or sheet silver lying about. I'm planning on making a couple of rings, so yeah, this will do. I'll calculate the volt drop at 25 amps a bit later. And yeah, this is the finished mod, and I want to show you, look at the softness of all the edges now. I mean, it looks so different, and all the edges are curved and shaped to fit my hand. And you might ask, well, why is it black again? I used something called jojoba oil. It's really not an oil. It's actually a sort of wax, and I use it when I make my soaps and moisture creams and lip balms and my own cosmetic products, because it moisturizes the skin so well. And I've always used this oil or wax to rejuvenate Delrin and my Filipino mods like the Marley Box and the MCM Underground. And even on cheap plastic, it makes cheap plastic looks good. Yeah. The new copper plate is now installed, the copper contact. And as you can see, it now hugs the contact inside. The voltage drop at 25 amps for this one is now 0.01 volts. The voltage drop up here, I don't know, but this is, even if it's stainless steel, it's at least not magnetic. But even so, this shorter distance and this fat contact shouldn't make for any difference. This is the longest part and therefore the most critical part to change. So by my estimates, I have now used 3 hours of work time to get the mod to this stage. So let's put a battery in it, fill up the bottle, and go upstairs again. Okay, I rarely do intros and outros at the same time, but today I was so eager to get going on this squeezer thingy that I really forgot to make a proper intro. I just started working. I was just curious, where will this lead in the end? And I think I mentioned it during the fixing of it, that I was surprised about the quality of the plastic. It's thick, and that means you have a lot of leverage room or material to carve your own mod out of it. I think I said at one point, oh, now I'm down to the primer. I won't go so far that the white comes out, but that's not the true. It's the gray color is just raw plastic without any moisturizer on top of it, like oil or wax or whatever finish you prefer. But the main thing is you can sculpt this box to fit your hand. If your finger comes up from the top, you just cut out the part of here on this side of the switch. If you're left-handed, you cut out this part, of course. And if you like to walk like this, like I sometimes do, holding it, I wanted this strong overhang to be intact. But I also like to fiddle with the knob. So I want some parts of it smooth and others not so much. I like to look at clean lines, and because I'm never holding up here, I conserved the clean lines on the top. On the bottom, on the other hand, I rounded it and sculpted it much more. So in the end, I'm sitting here now with a custom-made mod to my hand. And the finish looks like brushed and anodized aluminium. And it fits this Death Trap from Death Wish mods pretty cool. And yeah, by the way, this RDA is there's a dual coil in it now. I got an idea from one of the comments in one of my other videos. Hey, have you ever tried dual coil in the Death Trap? And I said no, and it was a pretty much better idea than my own with a big 5mm inner diameter coil. Dual coil in the Death Trap is awesome. So how does it fare against something good? Well, I can tell you now, it hits incredibly hard. I don't know the conductivity under heavy load on this steel spring or whatever it came with. It's like 10 centimeters long, and the material shouldn't play that much of a role. But you will notice if you vape at 4.12 volts instead of 4.19. This has a volt drop on that L-shaped surface of 0.01 volts now, per the internet calculator for resistance and voltage drop. Now, fresh batteries and my brand new red Rampage from Purge. Yeah, that went well. Okey-doke. I polished up the silver contacts, and now it's much better. Yeah. And back again. And give it a little squonk. The bottles are much softer on this one. I don't like that. I like my bottles to return fairly quickly. You know, it just hits twice as hard. Suicide King it is. Well, if this is not an unfair comparison, nothing is. Oh yes. jeez. Okay. And back again. Yeah, well, this fixed little squeezer is my hardest hitting single battery squonker. There can be no question about it. If I have one theory about why that is, the both the purge squonkers and most of this L-shape contact style mods, they have a round positive coming down and they have a flat spring touching it. I tailored this contact to fit the slight slant of the contact and the curve. So the contact point is massive and it just hits so much harder than anything else I've got. You can actually compare it to what I did with the Icarus. I didn't use the same technique. I more hollowed out slit to touch the contact. This time I made it real broad and flush on the positive. And that might be one explanation. I have tried to measure a voltage drop, but it didn't make much sense, that either. Because we are talking about current and current delivery, and this fixed squeezer. And this, it's just crazy, you know. This purge is like $500 and this is 20, but with a massive, twice as thick copper contact than what it came with. Wow. Yeah, you know, I think I just post this and you can leave your comments below this video. This is just insane.